Time is produced by the always wonderful John DeSando. Read reviews and listen to the shows online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
And of course, this is It's Movie Time.
It's movie time.
Linda,
John.
out today, Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs. Now, I preface this by saying maybe my favorite animation of all time is The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Right. And one of my favorite of all time, not an animation, but movie, was the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Go ahead, say it again.
And one of my all-time favorite films was Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson.
That's right. What a great movie.
Oh, it was
and
wonderful.
Before that, The Royal Tenenbaums.
Yep.
This man is prolific and eccentric.
Definitely. Okay, John, say Isle of Dogs 3 times.
I love dogs.
Isle of Dogs, Isle of Dogs, I love dogs.
All right. Okay, so if you don't love dogs, should you go see this movie?
Oh, I think so. First of all, he has created an animated film that is full of well-knowns. I think everybody is in this movie. Even Yoko Ono makes a tiny appearance in it.
I know.
Is there anybody not in the movie?
And Bill Murray's in it, and Bryan Cranston.
Oh, he's wonderful.
It just is. It's
Jeff
just,
Goldblum,
Yes.
Scarlett Johansson.
even Harvey Keitel.
Oh, yes.
These
yes.
are all great voices. I had a bit of a problem discerning sometimes the difference. That's
Right.
all. Some of them seem to blend in, but that may have been just my problem rather than Wes Anderson's.
Right.
Because what's significant about this film, Lenny? I mean, for you, what do you take out of it?
Well, I always have to give a basic, okay? The setting is Japan 20 years from now. And I can't tell whether Anderson was celebrating Japanese culture or whether he was making fun of it. But it takes place in a city called Nagasaki, where the evil mayor, Kobashi, has condemned all dogs to Trash Island.
Oh, sure, the big boys don't like dogs. They like cats.
They like cats. Oh,
so
my goodness.
you can begin to see the allegorical significance. I mean, this is just a movie to be enjoyed itself, but Anderson has layered so much that's contemporary. For instance, the whole migrant problem that we have
Right.
now, and taking minorities and pushing them aside. So they take these dogs, they trump up, so to speak, a dog flu and a snout
Fever.
and a snout fever to put them off into some island.
Right.
And in fact, of course, it's all fabricated. It's all fake news. And so you can begin to see the resonance in contemporary time.
And also the amount of garbage that's on Trash Island.
Oh.
I mean, this is sort of foreseeing, what are we going to do with all this trash? And all these poor dogs have been condemned to this island, and they roam around trying to find food and whatnot. But also, there's a little boy, he's a 12-year-old boy, and he's the adopted nephew of the mayor. And his dog Spots was one of the first ones that was sent to Trash Island. So he gets on a little biplane and flies over to Trash
Just as cute.
Island
And you gotta
to
love.
try and find his dog.
One of the beauties of this is the stop animation, which is such an unusual
It is.
animation. And what he did with Grand Budapest Hotel and some of the little dioramas he had there.
Yeah, he had the cable cars going in this, just like he did in the Grand Budapest.
I know, and there's so much richness in every frame. I think he's able to do that because of the stop animation. But there's so much going on, both visually and verbally. It really can't get it all at once. I believe you have to go back to enjoy the richness of it.
I know. I was thinking, I think I need to see this film again, just to understand all the things that were going on inside of it, all the subplots,
Yes.
all the flashbacks. I mean, it was just layer upon layer upon layer of things that were going on, and so it was hard to understand everything.
We were lucky at our screening to have some drummers.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if they're Kodo or I forget what the other name is, but anyway, we had some Japanese drummers who did a fine 20-minute set for us.
Right, it was wonderful.
And Anderson has them in the film itself to give it that Japanese culture. I think your question is an interesting one. For me, I thought it was a reverence for that.
Did you?
Yeah, and I saw even some references to Japanese cinema, particularly one of the favorites, Akira Kurosawa, who did The Seven Samurai. but his great, the actor that he used, oh darn, Mifuna.
Can't help you out.
Yes, I know. Oh shoot, let me see. Anyway, even one of Kurosawa's most famous actors appears in a decaying statue. So there's an awful lot that the drummers and there's an awful lot that's happening here. I think that has some very nice Japanese cultural touches to it, but it doesn't mean that he's overloaded. And I think that's a reason why you might ask whether it was satirical or not.
Right.
Because he's not overly fawning about
No.
it. Yeah. So,
But it was entertaining, but there was just so much going on. And you kind of have to focus on the pack of dogs that help Atari find spots. And
the little boy is Atari.
Yes, a little boy named Atari.
Right.
And their leader of the pack is called Chief. And he is played brilliantly by Bryan Cranston. If you could get an Oscar for voicing, I think he would do that. He was just so wonderful. He's unenthusiastic in the beginning, but eventually develops a very close relationship with the boy. And another dog named Nutmeg. She's a show dog. And their conversations sort of reminded me of things that happened in Lady and the Tramp.
Okay.
But I found it very interesting that all the dogs speak English, and of course the Japanese speak in their native tongue.
Yeah.
And it's our very own Oscar winner, Frances McDormand,
Right. And I think
who
that that's,
translates for us.
yeah, and I think that that's a very nice twist on the part of Wes Anderson, that he retains the Japanese for those characters. He has the dog speaking English, kind of a cultural mix there that works well for me, and means that we don't have to watch subtitles.
Right, exactly.
And we do have the narrator. Who is it? McDormand is
Frances McDormand is the narrator.
is the narrator,
She
right?
translates for all the Japanese-speaking people. So
Just like in the Grand Budapest Hotel, you have the little people fighting against the big people. And I think the same thing is going on here. You've got the little guy represented by the dogs,
right.
who will not be subjugated by the ruling class, who will fight back. And I think it represents so many different factions of people who will not allow themselves to be subjugated, even though they face daunting opposition by those in power.
Right, and one of them was the foreign exchange student, played by Greta Gerwig, and she organizes her peers to revolt against Kobayashi, who has conspired to infest these dogs with a snout fever. But one of the best laughs that I noticed was when it comes out that she's from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yeah.
It was one of the few people, people were really laughing at her.
It's too. Yes, I remember that. It was a nice touch. Coming off of Ready Player One, set in Columbus.
Right.
We're really gaining some prominence
Yeah.
here. So, Linda Baas McClelland.
Yes, John DeSando.
This animation is called Isle of Dogs. What grade would you award it?
For me, it was all a bit much. I almost had a headache by the end of the film, but it was clever and heartfelt. At times, the dogs had tears rolling down their cheeks. I give it a B.
All right, good for you. And I'm just in love with Wes Anderson's work, and I'll award it an A.
Oh.
Sounds to me like we have a winner here.
Yep. Down, Dawn.